You think that robe means something to me? I have officers who can make you disappear before lunch. That is what he said to me, in my courtroom, in front of witnesses, in front of a grieving family who came seeking justice. He said it slowly, like he had said it 100 times before and gotten away with it every single time. My name is Judge Frank Caprio. I sit in Providence Municipal Court. I've been on this bench for a long time. I've seen arrogance walk through that door in expensive suits. I have seen it walk in with lawyers who charge more per hour than most families earn in a week. But I had never, not once in my career, seen it walk in wearing a badge and carrying a loaded weapon. Chief Darnell Okafor was 51 years old. He was built like a man who used to be athletic and never quite let go of the idea. He wore his full police dress uniform that morning, polished buttons, pressed collar, 3 commendation ribbons across his chest. He walked in like he was the one running this courthouse. His jaw was set, his eyes were flat and cold. He did not look at the gallery. He did not look at the victim's family sitting in the second row. He looked straight at me, and the look said one thing: I am not worried about you. If you believe justice should be equal for everyone, for the widow sitting in row 2 and the chief of police standing at that defendant's table, then you are going to want to see every single second of what happens next. Stay with me. The bailiff called the case at 9:14 in the morning. Case number 2026 TR 0084, City of Providence versus Chief Darnell Okafor. I straightened my notes. I said good morning to the room. Then I looked at the defendant and said, "Good morning, Chief Okafor. Do you understand why you are here today?" He said, "I understand this is a waste of my time." The gallery went very still. Before I get to what happened at that defense table, let me tell you about the woman sitting in row 2. Her name was Mirabelle Osei. She was 43 years old. She worked double shifts as a home health aide, meaning she took care of elderly people in their homes. She helped them bathe. She helped them eat. She sat with them when they were afraid at night. She earned $14 an hour doing the most human work there is. Mirabelle had a son. His name was Theo. He was 19. He rode a bicycle to his community college classes every Tuesday and Thursday because they could not afford a second car. He wore a yellow backpack. His mother had bought it for him at the start of the semester. On a Tuesday evening in October, Theo was riding home. He was in the bike lane. He had his lights on. A city-issued black SUV ran a red light at the intersection of Clement and Broad Street and hit him from behind. The SUV never stopped. It kept going. Theo was taken to the hospital with a fractured pelvis, a broken arm, and a head injury that kept him in the ICU for 11 days. The city-issued SUV was assigned to Chief Darnell Okafor. Mirabelle looked for answers for 3 weeks. Nobody called her back. The accident report had a blank in the field for the other driver's name. When she finally got a lawyer to file a request, she was told the records were under internal review. When she came to my court, she was shaking, not from fear, from exhaustion. She had been fighting this for months and getting nowhere. That was who was sitting in row 2 when Chief Okafor told me my courtroom was a waste of his time. I let the silence sit for a moment. Then I said calmly, "You will address this court with respect, sir. That is not a request." He smiled. Not a warm smile. The kind of smile that says I have heard that before. "I have 37 officers under my command," he said. "I think we can move this along." I looked at him. "We will move at the pace of justice, Chief, not the pace of your schedule." The gallery shifted. Someone in the back coughed quietly. My prosecutor, a young woman named Assistant DA Carla Venn, began presenting the first piece of evidence. It was a traffic camera still image. It showed the rear plate of the city SUV 1 block from the intersection at 7:42 p.m. on the evening of the accident. The plate matched the vehicle assigned to Chief Okafor. The timestamp matched the accident report. I asked the chief if he was aware of that evidence. He said, "Traffic cameras malfunction all the time. I would not trust a pixel." The victim's mother closed her eyes. I wrote something down on my notepad. I kept my voice even. I said, "Noted. Let the record show the defendant has questioned the camera evidence. We will continue." If you are watching this and your jaw is already dropping, I want you to do something for me. Share this video with one person, just one, who you think needs to be reminded that a badge is not a crown. Because what is coming next goes somewhere I never expected, not in 30 years on this bench. The second piece of evidence came from a police department internal log. Assistant DA Venn placed it on the screen. It was a GPS record, the kind that every city vehicle generates automatically. It is not a camera. It is not a witness. It is a satellite. Satellites do not malfunction. The log showed the city SUV in motion at 7:39 p.m., traveling east on Clement Avenue. It showed the vehicle accelerating. It showed it continuing east without stopping at 7:42 p.m. It showed it arriving at Chief Okafor's private residence on Halcyon Drive at 8:01 p.m. The room went quiet in a different way, the kind of quiet that means people are doing math. I asked Chief Okafor if he recognized the GPS record. He leaned back. He crossed his arms. He said, "I would like to speak to the mayor's office before I respond to that." I said, "You are not at the mayor's office. You are in my courtroom. Please answer the question." He looked at me like I had said something ridiculous. "Judge," he said, "I have golfed with 3 city council members. I have known the superintendent of courts since 1987. I think you understand what I am saying." I did understand what he was saying. He was telling me that the people above me liked him. He was telling me that my job could become complicated. He was telling me that justice, in his world, was something that bent for the right people. I said, "I appreciate your social calendar, Chief Okafor. It does not belong in my courtroom." That got a short, surprised laugh from somewhere in the gallery. Then came the third piece of evidence. It was a text message exchange, printed on 2 sheets of paper. Assistant DA Venn handed me a copy and placed one on the screen. The texts were between Chief Okafor's personal cell phone number and a contact listed as T. Briscoe. Thomas Briscoe was the officer who had filed the original accident report, the one with the blank where the driver's name should have been. The texts read like this: Okafor, handle the Clement report, keep it clean. Briscoe, already done. What name goes in? Okafor, no name, pending review. You know how this works. Briscoe, roger that. Those messages were sent the night of the accident, 40 minutes after Theo Osei was loaded into an ambulance. I heard Mirabel Osei make a small sound from row 2, like something breaking quietly. Chief Okafor looked at those texts. For the first time since he walked in, something moved behind his eyes. Not guilt, not remorse, calculation. He was calculating. Then he stood up. He pushed back his chair. He stood to his full height, and he reached to his side. He put his hand on his service weapon. He did not draw it, but he put his hand on it, firmly, deliberately, while looking directly at me, and then he said it. "Judge Caprio, I want you to think very carefully about what you are doing here today. I carry this badge in this city. I carry this gun in this city. You are one man in one robe, and I want you to think about whether this ends well for you." 10 seconds of silence. I'm not exaggerating when I say that 10 seconds. I counted it later. 10 full seconds where nobody in that courtroom made a single sound. The air conditioning was the only thing running. Then Mirabel Osei stood up from row 2. She did not say anything. She just stood, like a monument, like she was planting herself there so the moment could not be undone. The gallery erupted. People were on their feet. Someone shouted. A woman near the door grabbed her chest. My bailiff, a 20-year veteran named Officer Taggart, moved immediately. He was at that defense table in 4 steps. His hand was on Chief Okafor's wrist before the chief could process what was happening. I felt something in me go completely calm, not cold, calm. The way the ocean goes flat before something enormous rises from underneath. I picked up my gavel. I set it down once. Hard. I said, "Everyone sit down." They sat. I looked at Chief Darnell Okafor, and I said his full name slowly. "Chief Darnell Okafor, you just placed your hand on a firearm in a court of law while addressing a sitting judge. You just made a threatening statement to this court on the record. Officer Taggart, please relieve the defendant of his service weapon and place him in restraints. Okafor said, You cannot. I already did, I said. The handcuffs went on in less than 45 seconds from the moment he touched that weapon. I watched it happen. His uniform sleeves bunched up at the wrists. All three of those commendation ribbons caught the light as they walked him back from the table. He was still calculating as they moved him, still thinking there was a call he could make. There was not. Now I want to address him directly, because I have some things to say, and I want to say them clearly. Chief Okafor, do you remember what you said to me when you walked in this morning? You said this was a waste of your time. I want you to sit with that, because Mirabelle Osei wasted 3 months of her time trying to get someone to write her son's name on an accident report. 3 months of phone calls that went unanswered. 3 months of being told the matter was under review. Her son wasted 11 days in an intensive care unit. He wasted a semester of college. He is still in physical therapy. He still cannot ride a bicycle. You called this a waste of your time, Chief Okafor. What do you call what you did to that family? You named your connections like they were armor. You talked about council members and golf courses and superintendents like those names would protect you from a GPS satellite and a text message. Let me tell you what those names mean in here. Nothing. In this room, the only names that matter are on the case file, and today those names were Mirabelle Osei, Theo Osei, and Darnell Okafor. You put your hand on your weapon, Chief Okafor, in front of a mother who just watched you try to erase her son. Think about that, not as a police chief, as a human being. The badge you wear is supposed to mean something. Every officer I have ever respected understood that the badge is a promise to the most vulnerable people in a city that someone is watching out for them. You did not keep that promise. You used that badge as a lock on a door that should have been opened to Mirabelle Osei from day one. And I want to say this last thing to you, Chief Okafor, and I want you to hear it clearly. The courtroom is the last place in this city where money and rank and golf buddies do not determine the outcome. That is what this room is for, and as long as I sit on this bench, that will not change. Not for you, not for anyone. Now, let us talk about consequences. For the charge of leaving the scene of an accident resulting in serious injury, I am imposing a fine of $12,500. $2,000 of that fine will be paid directly to a fund covering Theo Osei's ongoing physical therapy costs administered through the court. The remainder covers court costs and a reckless driving surcharge. Your driver's license is suspended for 36 months. No exceptions. No hardship permits for the first 18 months. After 18 months, you may apply for a restricted permit, but only with a certified driver re-education course completed and documented. For community service, you will serve 400 hours, not general community service, specific service. You will report to Providence City General Hospital, Ward 7, which is the trauma rehabilitation unit, every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. for the next 18 months. You will assist staff. You will sit with patients. You will be supervised by the ward coordinator. You will not give orders. You will take them. You will see every single week what a fractured pelvis and a broken arm look like during recovery. You will see it in people's faces. You will serve them. You will write a handwritten letter of apology to Mirabelle Osei and to Theo Osei, not typed, not sent through a lawyer, handwritten 2 pages minimum, reviewed by this court before delivery. I want your actual words. I want you to find them yourself. You will also be required to speak once at the Providence Police Academy's annual ethics training in person about this case, not a summary, your account, what you did, what it cost, what it means. That session will be recorded and kept as part of the Academy's permanent training library. Now, for the act of threatening a sitting judge with a firearm in open court, which is a criminal contempt charge carrying immediate custodial consequence, you will be remanded to Providence County Correctional Facility for a period of 45 days. You will appear before this court for a review hearing on the 45th day. Your remaining sentencing obligations remain active regardless of that custody period. Officer Taggart, please escort the defendant. He walked out, those commendation ribbons still on his chest, still catching the light. 4 months later, I received a letter. It was not from Chief Okafor, it was from Theo Osei. He had returned to community college. He was walking without a cane now. He said the physical therapy had been hard, but that he was getting through it. He said his mother had read him the handwritten apology letter, the one Okafor eventually submitted after his release. He said it was not perfect. He said it was real enough. He said there were parts that sounded like a man finally looking at something he had been avoiding. He said he did not know if he had forgiven Okafor. He said he was working on it. Then he said something I have thought about many times since. He said, "Judge Caprio, thank you for being someone who could not be moved." I read that line 3 times. I have been called many things in this courtroom. I have been flattered, and I have been threatened. I have had people cry, and people yell, and people try to shake my hand before I have even finished the sentence. But that, someone telling me I could not be moved, that meant something, because that is the job. Not to be liked, not to be feared, to be unmoved by the things that should not move a judge. Rank, wealth, connections, the hand on a weapon. A courtroom is a scale. Both sides have to trust that the scale is level. The moment the scale tilts for the powerful and away from the struggling, it stops being a courtroom. It becomes something else, something worse. Mirabel Osei came to my court after 3 months of silence from the people who were supposed to answer her. She came as a last resort. She came not knowing if even this would work. I think about that. I think about how many Mirabels there are who do not come, who give up before they get to the door, who assume the scale is already tilted against them. They should not have to assume that. No one should. Badge or no badge, title or no title, connections or none. If there is one thing I will carry from that morning in Courtroom 3 of Providence Municipal Court, it is this. The moment you stop fearing the robe is the moment the robe matters most.